Welcome to the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, the original food service equipment repair podcast built by technicians. Whether you're on the front lines of repair, keeping the kitchen running smoothly, or just passionate about the food service industry, this podcast is your go-to source for expert insight, tech tips, and real stories from the field. Know what makes a tough job easier? Using products that actually work and are safe for you too. That's what Viper's all about. The coil cleaners are non-corrosive, non-toxic, and easy on the equipment and the techs who use them. This episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles is brought to you by Viper and Refrigeration Technologies. Today's guest is Jarett Neuenfeld. You may recognize him from TikTok. Look up hashtag HVAC Army and find out all about him. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. Tonight, we have very special guest, Jarett Neuenfeld. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mr. HVAC Army himself on. If you guys are on TikTok or some of the other social media, I'm sure you guys have seen him out there. So I appreciate you coming on, man. It's pretty cool to talk to you.
Heck yeah, man. I'm honored to be on here. So I check out your podcast all the time. So I love watching what you guys do because I'm in the kitchen with you guys quite a bit. So
yeah, I didn't realize you were in there as much as you were. And like I seen a video, I was like, oh, he's working on a cooler. Oh, he's working on this. I was like, oh, so he does cross over a little bit into the kitchens.
I blend.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to make some money in this industry and pay the bills. I get it. I mean, and there's a lot of opportunities in the kitchen if you're willing to do some different things, do some refrigeration, or do some light commercial HVAC stuff. There's a ton of work out there.
Yeah. That's how I've kind of kept it all the whole way around here. Is kind of just been real versatile. I've always told my guys, I'm like, it's not good to be like the jack of all trades. You know what I mean? Master of none, I guess is how they say that. But like understanding the transfers of, understanding heat transfer essentially, where that's really it. Like I tell my guys, I told my guys before, but that if you just understand the concept, you can kind of blend through all of what we do. I mean, right? I mean, I always kind of wondered your refrigeration, right? I was curious too, did you ever was that something? Actually, you go ahead. I apologize, I had a question for you. I didn't get a chance to talk to you too long, so I was like,
oh no, you're good. No, I actually started off as an electrician. I was an electrician through high school, electric vocational, came out and did it for 5 or 6 years. Kind of got stuck doing the same thing over and over and over again. I was doing apartments and it kind of just burnt me out. I mean, I've got ADHD, and if you got ADHD, you do not want to do the same thing over and over. Yeah, I could tell. I didn't want to do the same thing over and over and over again. And I got into this. I started off just doing the cooking side, and eventually I got into refrigeration, self-taught, and now I've been doing it, this industry for 18 years, 19 years, and it's really cool, man.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. I feel it. I love it, dude. I love this industry.
Sweet. So let's get a little bit about you. I know you're located in Illinois. That's about all I know where you're from. And you've got a wildly successful TikTok, some other social media. So let's get into how you got started and where you're at.
Okay, yeah. Where I'm at. That's kind of like a question every day of my life. My brain moves so quickly all the time, but I got to tell it to slow down. But I started doing the TikTok thing about 4 or 5 years ago. When I noticed all the kids, at my house, stuff like that, were doing the dancing and doing the good stuff on TikTok, and I was like, you know what? I just kind of want to jump on here and really show. I guess really what it was. It goes back to all the way back from the flip phone era. It's weird to say how transitional our age group is. We were from phone on the wall to all of this. So
phone on the wall to pagers, so now you carry around a supercomputer in your pocket or two.
That's right, dude. I run my whole business off my phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just essentially back in the day, I always kind of felt it's actually a little selfish, to be honest. I kind of felt as if we really didn't get enough kind of exposure and credit for some of the things that we do and we're encountered with all the time. Even when you're getting home from a long day, and family is all, everything's happening like it normally happens, but you're walking in and you're 9 hours of just straight, sitting there on top of a roof, working on a condenser or cooler or whatever. And so I always kind of wanted to be like, there was always those times where I'm like, you know what? I wish you could just be here with me and just see it.
Hmm.
And out of that spun also, I wish you could just see it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like it is insane, the amount of stuff that we do all the time.
Hmm.
And so yeah, so I jumped into it, got into TikTok, and I started just creating videos. That's really it. I jumped behind the phone. I didn't really train myself on anything. I just get in there and I do it. Like I have an
Hmm.
idea and I flow through with it. And that's really how I started. And it just so happens that I caught a good following of HVAC contractors and mechanical plumbers, everything. And after that, I just kept spinning, and I'm like, you know what, this is great, because this will also help maybe kind of influence like the younger generation,
Hmm.
try to capture their attention. A lot of things that I noticed is, just either there was a stigma around us. There was a stigma around us, like it's, like we're in and out. If you don't, if you're not getting a college degree, then you're going straight to the trades, like a sentence almost, and
Hmm.
that's the way a lot of the kids, even my son, who's my oldest son, who's 18, that's a lot of how they think too. And it took a while to kind of transition that it's not like a slave labor thing. Like this is like this is good, this is fun, this
Hmm.
this will intrigue your brain. It's not militarized. And at least when I was younger, getting into this industry was tough. You had to know somebody if you wanted to get in the union.
Hmm.
And then to get into HVAC was a skilled trade, so it was like, you'd have to learn a lot, kid. You have to do this and that, and it just really scares a lot of people. And if you don't have that will to kind of overcome that, then you could just be deterred completely from your whole entire life, something that would fit you so perfectly, and that's it. That's where we're at. Yeah. And then now, shoot, transition from there, R&R. There's quite a bit of story behind all of it, but right now, currently, me and my girlfriend are running Frost Stops Umbrella Syndicate. I got our new shirts on here finally,
Nice.
and we're doing that. So I right now, in the past year, I've been moving, blending families, just going nuts. Trying to fortify my base so I can actually like do something, because it's like with the ADHD and running around like crazy, it's hard to get back to the things that you really love doing, and that's really what I've been doing. So I've been gone and getting around here. I literally just got done with an install, so I do apologize. My brain's a little fried right now. I'm running a one man with me, myself, and so I was talking to myself quite a bit today, and I was I was
Uh,
cursing a little bit, got a little bit of blood on the elbow for myself. So I got home here, and the kids are like all going like this, and I looked like, I didn't do that, I promise. Must be Halloween still.
nice,
um
nice.
yeah, I've been running around like crazy, and I was like, listen, I think I've got to like chill out for a second, and that's really it. My mental capacity, I won't lie, in this industry, as I'm 38 years old, is still a little bit tough. That's always a challenge, but I feel great at the end of the
Yeah.
day when I'm done.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I think it's a great thing though. If you have a mind, you sound like you think the same way as me. You can't sit still. Your mind's always racing. If you're bored and you're doing something, you're in trouble because your mind's going not where it needs to go. It goes the complete opposite. Like the dumbest thing will wreck you or ruin you, but the simplest thing
yeah.
can make the best. Um, but the trades are a great place for that, especially if you're in a service industry or an install industry. The HVAC side, it's a lot of different stuff. Add in refrigeration or the kitchen side, we never see the same thing pretty much. Every house is different, every building's different, every call is different. And it's really a lot of fun. If you're a guy that thrives on seeing different things, or a woman or whoever, this is a really
Yeah.
cool opportunity for people.
Oh, dude, it's insane. Like I said, so yeah, it's insane. Like the whole thing. Every day you wake up, it's a little bit different. You go back to it, but I definitely love the challenge in this industry, from business owner,
Hmm.
operator, to to service tech, installer, and then also relationship building.
Oh
That's
yeah,
another huge thing.
that's
You
the
get to, like, yeah.
that's one of the best parts, I think, is the relationships you build with people, customers, peers, even other companies. Those relationships are some of the ones I think are the best people I deal with is a customer. It's amazing, hearing the stories about what they do, their family, and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Hell yeah, I love it. Yeah, you get those late night service calls, when it's towards like Christmas and whatnot,
Hmm.
and you're helping. I mean, I've had people like send me home with cookies and whatnot, and like, to be honest, yes, I made money, but the gratification of like finishing a job and then getting a service call that was really tough. They didn't had
Hmm.
no, like, it's just a gratifying feeling in itself. Every day, really, almost every day. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and it's just
Yeah.
great.
And you're making a difference. Like, you go into a house and, there's kids there, they're cold, you get the heat running, it's safe for them to use, maybe someone came in and said, it had something else wrong with it, and we all have people that, shouldn't be in industries that do things, but, and you get it running, you're taking care of that family and you see the kids, little kids there, or older people, making sure they're taken care of is a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So how did you get involved in HVAC?
Um. Well, so I was actually working at a place called McCurdy Tool and Die. It's a machine shop. So when I was like 15, we had a lot of struggles as kids and family like that. We had to all kind of pitch in and whatnot. So, anyways, I was working over at McCurdy Tool and Die, sweeping up shop. This is right down the road from us, off of Free Church Road, which is in the middle of nowhere, Roscoe, Illinois. So, this guy's shop was there, and old man McCurdy said, "Hey, if you think you can, operate a lathe, jump over there and let's try you out, at their factory." And so I did, and I was there, and I was sitting there, and it was really funny because I wasn't even in the HVAC industry yet at that point, but I was actually helping manufacture or bore and hone like cylinders for Pazload air guns,
Nice.
uh, and then Dan Foss compressors, actually. So that was really funny because I remember seeing the logo Dan Foss, right? Like, just that logo just like stayed in my brain forever, and it was wild. So that was just like little shadows of what was to come for me in this industry. But I had been running really crazy. I've been really doing awesome at McCurdy, keeping up with their A rate, like the
Hmm.
A rate, B pay. It was awful. Anyways, so I got a little bit better than them, and I started to keep up with my rate. I watched the setup guys come around and make the minor adjustments, fractional up or down, as far as if I was out around on my part. So I watched them, mirrored it, and then I made my own adjustments. I got in trouble doing that, but I was bored. I didn't want to wait around. I didn't want to wait,
Yeah.
and I was looking up, and after I just got reamed out here, I was looking up, and I seen two guys that were just having a ball, hanging ductwork. They were hanging exhaust, round spiral pipe, and I was like, man, how do I want to do that? My grandfather always told me, if you're going to get into an industry, if you're going to get into the blue collar industry, get into the HVAC, kid, heating, cooling. And so I jumped straight from there, and I went to a guy named Butch. And it was Butch's Heating and Air, no joke.
Keep it simple.
He's
Keep it simple.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Yep, that's it. So Butch's Heating and Air, and he taught me the basics, the backyard stuff. Beer can cold, bubby. That's what he told me. Like, literally, like, we were on top of a cooler, sitting there, tank up, and no gauges, just a yellow charge port, and or yellow hose from the gauges, and we were up there, with the 404A. He's got it around. He's like, mm, 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 mm. Good. I mean, hey, the guy ran for 30 years that
Oh
way,
yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
people were happy. He probably charged absolutely nothing for that service. So, I mean, you get what you pay for. But I learned a lot of backyard skills from him, and then moved into a more structured environment in Rockford for residential, and then from there, decided to make my scary jump into commercial industrial. So like that was like where I had been with Richard J. Bowers for I think 3 years at that point, and they sold out, and I was just done with the new owner. They bought it. Somebody bought it for his brother, and the guy was sleeping in the back of the van. No joke. They're not around anymore, so I'm not bashing
Yeah.
anybody, but they're not around. So I don't get into the habit of that stuff or the. But anyways,
Hmm.
guy was sleeping in the back of the van. Like we pull up to a job, and technically the owner of it was sleeping in the back of the van, working off a hangover from the night before. So as I was like, all right, I think Richard J. Bowers, the actual Dick Bowers who left, I liked a lot and I learned a lot from. But once he was gone, I was gone. And then I jumped into this commercial industrial for Service Concepts, and that's where I really started to excel. I really like put all of the pieces together, like all of the backyard training, all of the hands-on, one-on-one training with different technicians and installers. They literally it once I went to ECC, and my first class was electrical 101, and I'm like, what do I need that, and I'm like, and I'm looking at it, and I go through the first, I'm like, I love it, I'm like, I aced the thing, I'm like holy shit, everything's there, all of the pieces are here.
Hmm.
And after that, I was gone. I mean, once I learned how to read the roadmaps and I understood transferring of energy, superheat, subcooling, a few other things, I was away, and I wasn't really afraid to tackle anything at that point. So and then they went union, and I started on my own. That's pretty
Nice.
much my gist.
Yeah, I'm teaching this week, so that's a big thing I'm teaching is how to we've been doing mock-ups, and we wired them up today. We're doing a wiring defrost, termination circuits, defrost clocks, that kind of stuff, and trying to show these guys like how to do it without a diagram. I give them a basic diagram and try to find this, and then teach them superheat, subcooling stuff. It's a fun thing I do occasionally. I enjoy teaching and just kind of sharing my knowledge and interacting with guys. I'm sure some of them are probably watching right now, actually. So so shout out to them if
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah,
Um,
so yeah. Shout out to anybody that's watching us right now. So I'm happy to be here, and the so you guys are working on defrost timers then tomorrow.
So yeah, I'm teaching a basic refrigeration class for Cefesa. So Cefesa is Commercial Food Equipment Service Association. It's kind of like our body sets the standards and stuff for what we do as far as commercial equipment, food equipment repair. And I teach basic refrigeration. So we have guys come in, they have their EPA, they have some basic electrical knowledge. Some may have hot sides, some may not. They come in and we start at basic thermodynamics day one. We work through that. We have little boxes built that are just pretty much plywood boxes. We have an evaporator hung in there, and there's temperature control hanging there. We pipe them up. We use soft copper. We flare everything. They have to put in a filter dryer, sight glass, a solenoid valve, TXV, run all the
Cyclics.
pipe, and then we pump it full of nitrogen. When we left last night, I had two of them that had leaks, so they had to fix those leaks this morning. And then we pulled a vacuum, we charged them up, we wired them up, and got them running today.
Hell yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, we
Sounds like a
started
fun
on a
day.
yeah, it's a blast. We get mixed hands on in class, back and forth. If I see them getting tired, we come out more. If not, I put them through the paces in the classroom, try to put our heads down and get through all that stuff so we can go have fun more in the back. So it's a blast. So I enjoy doing it.
So you guys, so you teach the book portion, and then you guys go to labs like halfway
Yep.
through or something.
Yeah. So what I try to do is I try to teach the book portion, and we go right into labs right after the book, so we can just apply it to what we've done. So
Hell
yeah,
yeah, that's
it's a
that's the
blast.
best way to learn. That's the way I when I went to ECC, uh, I loved it. Like I was expecting the worst, to be honest. When I was in there,
Hmm.
I'm like, I don't want to sit here with a book, and I'm like, I don't want to learn about chlorofluorhydrocarbons and all this other crap. And I'm like, I just want to know I want to know what it does and how it does it.
Hmm.
That's where I wanted to go. But once I got there, and they told me that it was lab and and lab, and you get to be have book. Now mind you, this is a while ago, so it just it wasn't, you couldn't really even research what they did. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like now, like when you go to take a class, you're like, okay, I'm gonna jump on YouTube, see what the heck that class is about or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, you couldn't do that. So I jumped in, but I loved it. Like once I learned that it was like half class, half, and then you get to
Mm-hmm.
apply the book knowledge to the physical piece of equipment. It's like
Yeah, it's just rough because it's only a week, so you got to try to pick and choose, and you got to try to stay on course. You can't, I mean, but it's a week, it's 8 hours a day too. So
oh,
I've got,
what?
I'm supposed to have 15, and I actually got 13 in the class, and that's a pretty good group though. We break up into groups. The defrost modules are 2 guys per module, and it's pretty much power comes in. We've got a digital temp control. We've got simulated heaters just by lights and some switches and stuff, and then we've got a time clock, and like they have to wire it all, and then it's got a fuse in there. And I'm like, at first I'm like, hey, let me know before you plug it in. Let me look at it. And now I'm just like, plug it in, see if you blow the fuse. Let's see what. Let's get down to it.
Oh man, I thought about that for a while. A lot of people were saying while I was going through this transitional period the past year to start kind of doing some teaching around here. I had
Mhm.
thought about it, but it's really I like to listen to it because I don't know how. I guess I would be awesome in the lab, but applying from book to that, it's got to be so challenging, man. Sometimes I can't
Yeah, the
appreciate like.
problem is the training's been done by several different people put together, and like I'm the only guy that does it that's not college educated. Everybody else is like college educated guys, and like they're doing it like college educated. I'm like, I'm a technician. I do it this way. This is how I'm teaching it. And my guys have fun. We kind of skip through some of the stuff that's there's stuff in there about refrigerants that we're never going to use. And I'm just like, hey, this is what this is. Let's go on to the next one. Let's go on to the next one. I try to keep it on what we actually work with in our side of the industry, and just try to keep it fun and lively. I make jokes with them. I was telling them to hook up stuff wrong earlier. I was like, no, don't listen to me. Figure it out on your own, guys, but don't listen to me because that is not right. And
That's
it
the
was
way to
cool.
do it, though.
Oh yeah.
Throw them right into it. Throw them into the
Yep.
fire, and if you're watching them, that's fun, kind of like just to
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I let them pick their own groups. Sometimes it fails. Most times it works out pretty well because sometimes you'll get guys just want to goof off. But my guys today are doing a really good job. So I'm really excited for this class. So,
Heck
but
yeah,
enough about me. Let's talk about you. I mean, this
yeah.
show's about you. So I see, you're going out on your own. You've been out on your own for a little bit, but you kind of transitioned to something new here. So are you trying to focus just on mainly residential, or are you going to do some like commercial and keep doing some kitchen, refrigeration, or just what are you going to do?
Well, actually, right now, I'm working on a municipality, so that's really my contract that I'm kind of running. So what I'm doing is I'm pretty much dialing back, going back to the kind of the roots of when I first started the business,
Mm-hmm.
with myself, really kind of taking myself back, applying all the knowledge from all of the lessons that I've learned over the past 15 years or so, 14 years. So I'm applying a lot of those lessons to it, and I'm attacking this in a fun way, more of a just a quality over quantity factor, and seeing what I
Mm-hmm.
can do with that around here. But I'm going to be pretty much right now working on. I've got a couple of 50-ton train systems that I'm working on. That's got a backnet system on it. It's a proprietary software that
Mm-hmm.
this company built, and it's kind of a pain in the ass because they completely locked out anybody from getting into it. And it's I so anyways, that's fun. So we're gonna be doing that. And then I've been working on some pretty cool, like, in the municipality, kind of when I go in for contracts and things like that, I do try to wait for kind of somebody to be like, hey, I've got this really crazy problem or whatever. And I'm always like, that's what I love the most, literally, is to like,
Mm-hmm.
is to find the craziest, hard, most difficult problems and give it
Mm-hmm.
to me and see if I can do it. And I've been nervous a few times on some. This particular one, I got to get rid of a smell, an odor. So I like get this. So this boardroom, right, has this smell for like 2 years now. It's been happening, and it smells like burnt like metals or something like that. And so the guys came to me and said, "Hey, Jarett, I've got a weird one for you." I'm like, "You ready?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it."
Mm-hmm.
And got up there, and it's a negative pressure train. They got up there, and I'm looking at it, and now they did some work themselves, which, being that they were building maintenance, they were just trying to go for the common sense things, like,
Yeah.
economizer. They plugged up
Hmm.
the economizer. They cut off all air infiltration from anything else, right? So as I'm running through it, I go around to the front side here, and I've got everything pulled apart. You can clearly see that there has never been a maintenance done on this train unit. And so, but I wasn't there yet, because an
Hmm.
odor inside of there, my brain even started navigating towards, like, in the duct, and try to
Hmm.
come up with something that is just, here it is, look at this.
Yeah.
So the hard part is that it wasn't any of that. It was that there had been never a combustion analysis done on it.
Ooh.
Yeah. And on top of it, you could see, I don't know if you remember, but the negative pressure train caps, they've got that little pin. You got to have that key to take it off to make
Hmm.
the adjustments, because the whole thing is that I don't want anybody in there that doesn't know what they're working on. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
that crazy, but you could see it, and that's where one of the guys said that, hey, the last guy that was here, they were tapping on it like with a hammer. You could see it was all busted up, and so they did the maintenance, and they left and said there's nothing that we could do about it. We're gonna have to change it out. And I was like, oh. So I walked around here, and I'm trying to, like I said, trying to give them that wow, something that really makes sense to them. And I couldn't give it to them. I was like, it's a maintenance. I'm like, you can see that door gasket's never been replaced in 20 years. That burner plate in the back, you should do them about every 5 years, or at
Hmm.
least use some RTV or something.
Yeah.
But they didn't. You could clearly say it was all original. So I said, I'll get the maintenance kit on it, the gaskets and everything. We're going to replace the gas valve just because of the fact that it was beaten to crap.
Hmm.
So I said, all right, we'll just get the kit and the gas valve. The gas valve was not failed. I just didn't trust it.
Didn't trust
Okay.
it.
So
Oh
I
yeah.
told him that. Yeah. So got back, did everything, ran a combustion analysis. Also noticed that they had the regulator pinned on positive, like they had the external regulator pinned. So my pressure was like 20 inches or something like
Oh.
that. Or yeah, 20 or 30. It was almost 30. They had it pinned. So they have a high pressure
So
system there.
2 pound system. So it's 32,
Yep.
34.
So
Yeah.
they had that pegged. And then the other the other old valve, I pulled the cap off, and they had that buried. So I don't know what they were doing originally, or whoever worked on it earlier, but they had a multiple issues.
Yeah.
So got the negative pressure system, or got the gasket replaced, gas valve installed, dialed everything down, and they had their first board meeting about 3 weeks after that. No issues. They're like,
Nice.
we don't smell anything. They couldn't believe it. And then, like, now it's been a year later, roughly, or so, and they're like, still no issues, dude. Like, and I ended up going to fix a rooftop unit that wasn't installed. It wasn't in their backnet system, but they also didn't run any or they didn't run any. They didn't do any kind of maintenance on this piece of equipment since probably day one, and ended up getting that. So they have AC and conditioning for this massive humidity issue they had in the hallway of the police department.
Hmm.
And then past that point, I went to fix another equipment on one of the well pump houses, which first time I ever got to see inside of a water tower. I'm not gonna lie, I might sound like a little kid, but I've never. It's just a pipe, but that's
Yeah.
it. It's
Just a
not
big
really
giant
that
pipe.
cool. But I was thinking like Jim West, I'd be up there in there. But no,
Yeah.
it's just
That's
a pipe.
funny.
But I got to sit there next to them in the pump house, and there was a twin system that was installed from day one, and they never fired off the secondary furnace. So there's just been multiple, and you know what blows my mind is, like, it almost feels as if I'm lying, like
Oh
not
yeah.
lying, but it feels like I'm guilty, because it's like, how could I come fix this one and that one, and now I'm working on three makeup air systems again. $50,000 of time, money's been
Hmm.
spent on these three pieces of equipment. I now am going to be able to get these things running. They're green heck units.
Hmm.
That there was an issue with the FOX 8, the FX8 controller from Johnson Controls.
Yeah.
It's basically, those green heck systems are just rooftop units with a stainless steel heat exchanger and a max control
Yeah.
valve. You know what I mean? It's just
So they're
a
not direct burner. They have a heat exchanger versus a direct burner.
It's a direct burner. Yep, correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So just blows the flame in, sucks the heat in around it.
Yeah.
That's wild. The
It looks
first
like
time I
just an
seen.
in-shop burner, tubular heat exchanger, like I said, but they haven't
Uh,
ran in 15 years.
that's
So
crazy.
like they spent 50 grand saying that there was gas pressure issues. I seen like one panel I pull off and there's a deucer motor missing, board missing. So I'm trying to figure out where to start. I ended up
Hmm.
finding the closest one that was put together. The bearing was all stripped apart because it had been running for God knows how long without doing anything. Because the blower motor was operational on one, no call function for heat on any of the other units, and I had error codes on each FX controller. So got a hold of Green Hack, said there's a revision, or I'm sorry, not in 19, in 2015, I think is what they said. And they moved it to the new manufacturer of the controller, and I can't remember the name of them right now. Something with a C. Um, anyways, that revision was made, so I have to come there with the new board, the new kit, the new revision kit for the FX controller, and I installed one of those new AllSpark boards. Those were
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
cool. I got to play around. I haven't played with any of those. I was using a lot of my other inventory, like the
Hmm.
S86Us or whatever they are. Did I
Yeah.
say that right? Yeah. And so, anyways, uh, uh, so with a revision, one AllSpark board, one bearing, we're all up and running.
Nice.
So they're literally approving. I get to go there next week and put the controllers in for them. So they approved it all, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna really spend another 5 grand, you know? Are we still gonna we're really gonna do that?" And I'm like, "I promise, let me do it. Spend the money. I
Yeah.
promise you, I will get your units running." And
Give me a
"Well, dude, if
shot.
you get these running, you're in forever." And I'm like, "Sweet."
It's amazing how many places just don't do maintenance, or they just blindly trust whoever's going in there because they've done our work for years, and they've always taken care of us, and really they're not
Yeah.
taking care of you. They're taking advantage of you. It seems like a lot of times.
I see that the advantage taking happens all the time. Like
Hmm.
it's almost like they get in for a contract, is what I see in the commercial realm,
Hmm.
and their eyes are off of it, and they're just bleeding maintenance contracts.
Yep.
Like, or the guys are just, or maybe the company doesn't know that the guys are not doing it,
Yeah.
and there's no follow up procedure to be able to know if. I get, you got to trust your people,
Do
I don't
people not have
know,
do people not have a conscience though? Man, I'd feel guilty. I'd like,
yeah.
dude.
What?
I was like, I'd be scared. I'd feel guilty. I could not do it to somebody, man.
Yeah,
I would.
wouldn't you lose sleep at night? Like if
Oh,
I knew that
dude,
I
it
had,
drive. I'd be sick to my stomach, man.
yeah, that's me.
It's like, and you feel bad for them. You get in there, and like you said, you're like, it needs this, and this, and needs this, and this, and no one's ever cleaned this, no one's ever done this, and you're like, I'm sorry to tell you this, but that you've got hosed, but I'm here to make it right. Do you want to spend the money with me to make it right? Do you want to price it? What do you want to do? Give them
Right.
options and let them know and see what they could go for. So,
Yeah, dude. That's exactly the way I feel too, man. I mean, I told them, like I said at the city, I told them that we're I, I can definitely come to the solution. Like
yeah,
there's no guessing, and that's
yeah,
what's great. Like there
hmm,
is no guessing. It will work. I know it will. And even at my level of understanding of this equipment, I still get challenged every day because
hmm.
of all of the various pieces of equipment.
Oh yeah,
Having to brush up on green hack and that model, I hadn't worked on one of them in probably, I don't know, maybe 6 7 years or so. So like I don't, I see such a wide range. It takes me about, I don't know. It takes me about a quarter of the service call to actually really get acclimated back with it again, and then be like, okay, we're back on the bike, riding a bicycle.
yeah.
And
Everyone always asks me, how do you work on all this stuff? How do you know all this stuff? I'm like, oh, I don't. I'm just really good at finding information on stuff.
well, it
Uh,
is. I mean, if you know the basic
yeah. Oh
fundamentals,
yeah. You
then
get
you
the
just have
basic,
to
and
do your
then
research.
yeah, basic fundamentals, and do your research, and you can fix anything. So let's talk about like some of the partnerships you have. Me and you have something kind of in common. They're different companies. I do some pressing, ACR pressing with
Okay.
RLS, and I see you pressing all the time with is it Mueller Streamline? Is that what you're repping?
Yeah. Mueller, I am. We've been. That whole story was kind of wild too. They first found me.
Hmm.
I'm doing kind of one-off jobs, so I don't want
Yeah.
to You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to, yeah, completely, but I will tell you the story on how I jumped in with them. But I made 2 videos on TikTok actually, and all of a sudden I get a call from my office with my partner at the time, and she's like, hey, Chris Mueller is here from Mueller Streamline, and I was like, what? And I'm sitting out
Nice.
there using the tool. I was on an install with the guys, and they're like, well, will you be able to come back to the shop? I said, no. I told them no. I didn't really know who he was at the time,
Yeah.
because like I didn't know who was even there.
Yeah.
I was like, I was telling her at the office, I'm like, I'm not pulling out of here right now. I'm like, I can't just go. I'm like, we got
I
we
gotta
got to
get my
finish.
customer
So I
fixed here.
finished the
Yeah.
job, and then they ended up coming back. This guy Bob King and Ashley Lupa, they were both involved with it, and so they tell me that, hey, by the way, you apparently you're the TikTok guy that made some videos. You sold 3 of our tools down in Tennessee. So
Nice. Nice.
I guess apparently just the 3 videos I made, I sold tools, and so they were on. They were like, hey, let's start working together, and that's how we kind of formulated the plan. And like I said, I make videos for them. Like I said, one-off kind of jobs. It's not more or
Hmm.
less continuous.
Yeah.
But they also are giving away a tool for us too, to give away for the HVAC Army, which
Hmm.
I ran kind of a beta launch on that, but it didn't bite, and I couldn't give away the tool to one person.
Dude, that giveaway word kind of like if you put giveaway in a post, it kind of like destroys the algorithm. It like just they bury it, dude. It's so weird. Like
Huh,
I hate
I
that
didn't know
on
that.
Instagram's real bad about too. Like I had a giveaway, I hit 5,000. Like I was giving away like a Navac pump and a bunch of stuff. Actually, I still got to send some of it out because it got sent back because I put the wrong address and I got to send it back out when I get back home. But um,
Yeah,
like you put giveaway in there and it's like just tanks your algorithm on that post. It just buries it. Like that's so
I didn't even
dumb.
know that.
Yeah, so you
I didn't
kind of
know.
gotta watch how you word things because, like, I don't know why they do it. I think they think you're just fishing for attention at that point, or likes or engagement, and maybe just like it's like screw you type of deal.
Oh,
So
that makes sense.
a lot of times when you word it, you put a giveaway in there, and like it just messes with it, man. I've ran a couple giveaways, and like both of them just kind of like fall flat on their face.
So what's our code word?
I don't know. I do not know. I haven't figured it out. I'm not that smart. If I was that smart, I wouldn't be a tech. I'd just be a social media guy.
Come on now.
Uh, so it
Yeah,
just seems like it doesn't matter who does it either. So it's kind of wild. So
it is, because I mean, with that, I mean, it was hard to give away
mhm.
a full pack out that was full
Yeah,
of tools. You know what I mean? That we did last time. That was
yeah,
so hard to like. I'm like, this is hard to navigate. This is hard to. Um, it, we were as a team. The HVAC armies here sitting on my wall still.
hmm
These
oh
guys,
yeah,
all of us, all of us were just sitting there. We were like, it was just very hard to navigate
yeah,
without having like the proper like tools and everything.
hmm
And we, like I said, the same thing. Like, so I tried to do the giveaway for the Mueller Streamline press tool, and I'm like, we had Ty Brennerman was the
hmm
Ty Brennerman was the only one. He's the only one to am I pronouncing his last name right?
Brannaman, yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
Ties,
Yeah.
he won't be mad. I've never seen that guy mad.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
He's awesome.
nasty HVACR said maybe follower appreciation. I'm not sure how we can get around it. I feel kind of guilty jumping in people's giveaways because I don't want to win. I want it to go to someone that is new or needs a tool or something. So a lot of times I'll do everything but one thing to get entered. Like because there's steps we make people work for it. We're not just going to give it away. You got to at least interact or do something. And I'll do everything but the one last part, so I don't qualify, but I'll share the hell out of it just to get attention out there for whoever's doing it, just to try to help spread it around. I don't want to win it. I just, I don't know, it's just my way of helping spread it around, I guess.
Yeah, that's really that's awesome. Actually, that seems to be the hardest thing, is to
Hmm.
get your friends and family to to
Yeah.
kind of try to push your stuff. It's like, it's not like, but the problem is it's also because of the algorithms that we build for our
Hmm.
own stuff. By helping you out, they're messing with what they like to watch on
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
little TV now. It's like, I get it, like why they don't do it all the time, but it does seem a little bit
Hmm.
like we're giving it away. Let's go. And but I think I don't know how I'm gonna run it, but I can definitely any input or anybody that has suggestions on how we want to do that, it'd be great. And as far as how, like, I'm the same way as far as the giveaways for this stuff goes. If I were to get something or win something by just doing it, I'll probably just give it back. You know what I
Yes,
mean? So
I give
like
it to
I
somebody
can,
else. If I do win, I give it to somebody else. Or like when I do a drawing,
yeah.
I'll
If
give it
one of you guys
away.
win it, just
Yeah,
keep sending it on. Whoever
yeah.
wins it and can use it, use it.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to like make a difference because I remember when I was new to the trades and I was struggling and I wanted a tool and I couldn't buy it, or I didn't have social media and people were sending me stuff to try and check out. I remember what it
Yeah,
was like, and I'm like I want someone to genuinely get it and use it and like appreciate it. So I'm like
yes.
I feel if I get it, it's like I feel kind of like, oh, I don't know. I don't feel like I cheated, but it's like it's not. I don't feel right doing it. Just that's just how I am, man. I want other people to benefit from it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I just want to see people use it. Like,
Yep.
a lot of the tools and stuff like that that we've given away already. Like the bag. I would love to see how that bag is today. I actually haven't seen the bag. I always like when
Mm,
when people send me like stuff back that they get, just because it just makes my heart feel good that they're using
hmm.
it. And
Yeah.
but like the bag had a lot of stuff in there from all of us, like all of us in the field.
Yeah.
That was like the heart of the heart of us,
It was like personal
in the
stuff added
trades.
to it. Like, yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, dude. That's
Yeah.
it, man. I love it. I love it so much. That was a cool giveaway. And Ty actually had brought that up as well to me, as far as doing the doing another one where we just, like people like you and I who have, well, not me at this point, maybe a little bit here after a few yeah, after a few things are handled. But you and I that have tools that we can, that we could
hmm.
probably give away one or two that we don't
Yeah.
need. Or I felt like that was a great idea in general, and I kind of came up with
Hmm.
that one on the fly. I love the feeling of that because I have so many tools in my pouch that I will not give up. Like, they're
Oh
my
yeah.
tools. Like my set of channel locks, they're worn in, they're broken in perfectly. I love them. I will never get rid of them, and until
Yeah.
I'm past. So I mean, but there are some that I can part away with, and I guess as a tradesman like yourself too, like I like knowing that my tools are being used. Like I
Yeah.
like to know that feeling of it being used
Hmm.
and still alive today, turning it. I like. I just picked up a bunch of stuff from a garage sale. Wild. It was $150. I got oxyacetylene, awesome set. I got
Nice.
a kick-ass DV85, uh, uh, just better pump,
Yep.
JB pump. I got like a boatload of beautiful broken in tin snips. All of the stuff from Midwest, but it's from like 50 years ago or so,
Dude, I cannot
40
use
years.
10 snips to save my life. I don't do duct work, so I'll use that as an excuse. But dude, every time I use 10 snips, it's hideous. I can't cut anything square, can't cut anything round. If you want me to cut zigzags, I'll cut zigzags for you all day. But I cannot cut a straight line to save my life. But I never do it. So when I do have to do it, I'm like, I'm gonna suffer through this one.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm not saying I like it either. I over the years, I like building fun fittings. If I'm
Hmm.
gonna be real bougie and prissy, like as far as like, I would like to just build like wild fittings. I got to do a couple of fittings for a guy. So like, there's another local contractor, and I've noticed this with some of the younger contractors too that are in here, that are kind of coming about. They kind of need help too from us other contractors, so it's
Yeah.
not like they're like competitive with us, so
Hmm.
we're just all kind of doing it together. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I got to make a couple of cool fittings for a guy, and help him out, but like I said, one off. But running slang and duck in a crawl space, oh man, I don't want to do it
So
anymore.
I built a big barn. I built a big barn, and my office is in there. My wife's got an office in there, and my gym's in there, and it's full already. I built this monster barn. I was like, oh, I'll never fill this thing up, and then a year later, it's completely full. But I'm getting ready to put some. I'm getting ready to put a gas line out there. I've got a furnace I'll put in, and I'd love to just do like a big spiral duct across the front, just because it looks so badass.
Yeah.
But I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'd have to find someone to come do it for me, hang it for me. So I don't
Well,
know what I'm gonna do yet.
let's go. I'll come out.
That'd be fun, man. It'd be fun. So
Hell yeah.
I gotta get my gas line in before I start worrying about duct work.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me know. I'd love to do that stuff.
Yeah,
I like the spiral duct. I don't mind that, but
yeah. I just love the
running
look of
residential
it.
duct.
The
Yeah,
look of that
dude.
spiral duct's awesome. Even when it's like black, I like it when it's nice and shiny. But even when it's like painted black in the ceiling, and like normal people don't look up at the ceiling. You go in a restaurant with a black ceiling, you don't look up. But trades guys, this is the first thing you do. You're like, "Ding, that's crooked. That's wrong. That's undersized. That's hanging. That's leaking." I mean, that's you go to a restaurant, you're staring at the ceiling for an hour while you eat dinner. And it's just, but I love just when I see spiral duct. It's just something about it, man. It's like an art.
Yeah, it is like, yeah. Oh, I don't know if you've seen this, but I posted a video a while ago, or a little clip. But the coolest part about it was the ductwork. My girlfriend, she took me to Montana earlier this year. Very
Nice.
lucky for my birthday. She spoiled the
Sweet.
crap out of me. So like I've always I love like that whole area,
Mm-hmm.
Wyoming and all that, and so anyway, she took me out there and we're sitting at this breakfast place and enjoying some food, and I look up and well, I'm not gonna lie, I noticed it when I first walked in. What am I
Mm-hmm.
even trying to say? I did notice something was weird, but as I was looking at it, I noticed there were blades that were put onto it, so it was actually like four blades, and it was a fan that was
Yes, I
built out
seen
of the
that. I seen
ductwork.
that post. Yes, I seen that post.
Dude, I was like, when I was looking up at it, I'm like, wait a minute, do they have to run like wiring? Is there linkage in there that's turning
Mm-hmm.
the fan inside the duct? But then I looked at it even closer, and it's just set up on a cup. So it's like one big bearing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a unit that they made, and it's all pressurized and maneuvered by airflow.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. I was like,
Yeah,
that's
that was
awesome,
cool.
dude.
That was super cool. I remember seeing that. Now you say that. Yeah, that was a different one. I like seeing stuff like that too. That's pretty cool. Like we have a chain of like it's like a sub shop. There's only a few of them. They're like in universities area, but it's called what is it? It's now Potbelly
Oh yeah.
sandwiches, and like they're duct. Like they get like a big like submarine that comes out of the ductwork. It's made out of the ductwork is painted up. And it's pretty cool. It's awesome. So I like going in there. We used to do their work. I haven't done it in years, but I always remember that big sub. It's like looks like it's coming out of the air, just coming down. It's just duct work. It's cool.
I love
So,
that when people are artistic, like that's like I love that. Like I'm a nerd when it comes to that as far as the HVAC stuff goes. Like,
yeah, yeah. So one thing I want to say is like I like your content, like the way you put it out there, choppy and all over the place. Like I wish I had the time to like figure out how to do that and make it work. And I can't do it. It's just,
ah,
but I love seeing you do it. Like you're all over the place. Someone's sped up, someone's just a little bitty second here, a second there. I really love how you do your stuff, man.
well, thank you. I appreciate it. I like I said, it's kind of just a thing I do, and yeah, I've had other people like, "What do you do?" I'm like, I just have an idea and I run with it.
That's cool. That's
And
cool.
I've learned how to operate my phone so quickly over the years that it's just
Yeah.
like.
I was a
But
late
thank you very
adopter.
much. I really appreciate that, man.
Oh, you're welcome. I was a late adopter to TikTok thing, and sometimes I do better than others, and some days I just do something for clickbait or rage bait, just because I know it's going to make people mad. And like my best one was like dumb luck. I was just showing a wrench, and everyone's like, it was a stainless connector of a copper pipe, and I was like, they're like, oh, that's galvanic action, that's going to corrode. I'm like, dude, if this oven lasts 10 years to where that actually corrodes, we could talk about it, but it's not going to last 10 years. It's never going to be a problem. Let's not worry about it, guys.
Yeah, I love that. I love the trolls. You just gotta feed them a little bit so they can help feed the comment section for you with their keyboard warrior things going.
That's why I kept telling them. They kept saying, "Oh, it's going to corrode." I was like, "Thanks for the interaction. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the interaction." Yeah, I used
Yeah,
to like
come back
delete
in
the.
10 years.
What? Yeah, I'm like, I used to like delete their comments, and someone's like, "Stop doing that." It's like you're stupid. Don't delete the comments. It's screwing you. Just leave it in there. So now, like,
Yes.
if I say something, I try to be kind. Like on that video, I was getting mad. I wanted to start being like a smart aleck, and I didn't do it. I wanted to so bad. Like one of them was like, "It only take 5 seconds to put some tape
Oh,
on that," and I was like, "It only takes 0 seconds to scroll on by and not say
that's
shit."
right.
And I typed it out,
Walk
and
on.
I typed it out and then deleted it. Yeah, I was like, and
I would challenge anybody to. I would love to find one of those guys, right?
yeah,
And I'd like to be able to assemble a whole
hmm
synopsis of all of their comments,
oh
and
yeah,
then I want them to follow that to a T. I
yeah,
want to see how they do in a day. That whole synopsis. That's how they're supposed to operate all day. They got to follow their comments.
yeah.
They got to do everything they said that they were going to do in that comment, because guaranteed in this industry, it is impossible to
Mm-hmm.
cross all of your T's and dot all your
Oh,
I's.
dude,
I mean,
it's always the guys' accounts are private or they have no videos. It's a bunch of stupid random repost stuff they do. It's like no one's ever showing their work, but yet they're out here criticizing my work. I'm like, if you can't show yours, I don't want to hear you talk shit on mine.
right. That's exactly. Yeah, that too. Like, hey man, you could go to any job that I have on
Mm-hmm.
my TikTok, anything I go anywhere, you could go through it and we'll go through it all together.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you're gonna find something that's wrong. You know what I mean? And anybody else's perspective. I mean, we have so many avenues and so many areas that we have to cover
Mm-hmm.
when we're doing like retrofits and things like that too, It's like, come in, we'll see. I'm sure there's something. Thanks for your comment. Thanks for noticing.
Yep. Thanks for the
I,
engagement. Move along.
I'm making sure that I'm checking. Those guys too are the ones that are talking about a piece of tape. Are they also pulling out their manometer?
Oh
Are they
yeah.
going through the startup checklist? Like
Mm-hmm.
I tell and I preach to everybody. I'm like, I don't give a shit if you've been doing it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And you just know that it's 3.5 inches of water column when you pull it out of a box or
And you just
whatever. I get that all
rewrite
the
that
time.
down on the paperwork. 3.5.
3.5.
I'm like, you guys are nuts. I'm like, you do realize that gas pressure is never exactly 3.5. Just says
Yeah,
manifold pressure 3.5. It's never exactly 3.5. There's
never.
always some variance there, but you put 3.5 on there and somehow no one ever calls you out. I was like, you're lucky. Because if I was looking at that and I noticed every one of your startup forms came in and said 3.5, I'm going to start rejecting them because I know you're full of shit.
Yes, yes. No, I mean, over time, that
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not 3.5, 3.5,
No,
zero
it's like,
point 0.5 inches of static, 0.5 inches of static. It's like, okay, come on, guys.
yeah, I get it all the time. Guys calling for tech support and I'm like, what's gas pressure? It's good. I'm like, no, it's not.
Oh,
You wouldn't say it's good if you actually checked it.
oh, God. How do you clear? You know what I would love to do if it was like a tech support line where even like for somebody like us, where we've got
Mm-hmm.
the knowledge behind us. You know what I ended up doing a couple like it was an Aeon unit I was working on, and they're fun pieces of
Oh,
equipment,
yeah, they can be
but
crazy.
yeah. So I was about to call. I do this every time I get to a place where I'm a little bit in this place of where I got to hurry a little bit because I got pressure on me, and I'm like. I could sit here and I could navigate it because I'm going to do that either way, or I could call tech support. I get on tech support. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I already got it figured out.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
did I even do that? But I wish there was one where you could be like, it has your credentials, and it's like, listen, I did verify, like what you were just saying,
yeah.
like I did do that. That would be awesome, and then you could go
So,
straight to the source.
there's an oven manufacturer. They just happen to be the one in my logo. Um, they are very particular on who works on their unit, and if you are not trained, they will not help you because they don't want no one working on them because they're really sophisticated. But they actually have a system that has caller ID recognition, and your
Wow,
phone number has to be tied to you. You has been trained, and it actually transfers you to an actual different tech support division.
that's
Like
awesome.
it takes you, it's like, oh, this guy's trained, so he goes to the A line. If you call from a number that's not associated to your name, you get tossed in the B line. You're gonna be back there waiting forever. They make you talk to some random people and give them information to see if it's really worthy of shoving it through.
Wow, that is the stuff that I literally would love and pay for
Mm-hmm.
out of a manufacturer. Like there is not enough manufacturers out there. I heard Napoleon as far as the residential line goes, and I'm only speaking of this because it seems like most of the issues we have with this stuff is in the residential field. It's not as much in in the commercial stuff that I do. Not as much. Now, 2020 kind of threw a wrench into that with the QC stuff that was going
Mm-hmm.
on, but yeah, just to have that support, like you're saying, like if it, I so Mitsubishi, all right, so Mitsubishi, I'm a diamond contractor
Mm-hmm.
for their city multi and and their the hyperheat systems,
Yep.
and they have once you get through their program, which is intense, and I like it a lot. It was really good. Like there was a lot of different formulas that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Just good cheat sheet stuff to have. Um, but they push you through straight through. You get technical support you want if you can't figure it out yourself because technically you have all the tools, and
Yeah.
they've got an actual they've got this they got a USB I forget what they call it, management tool or something you can plug in. I don't have it. I thought after becoming a diamond contractor they would give you this. I'm like, you should probably give this to us. Something that we can plug into our boards and it gives you it gives you a whole set of like analytics or diagnostics on the equipment. You can't do it from the board, but you can get it from this service tool they call it, I believe. I don't know if you're
Yep.
familiar with that thing, but
No, I don't. I thought I almost bought a Mitsubishi Hyperheat mini split system for my barn when I was doing like my wife's office and my office. We have a mini split in there, and I was looking at those. I just didn't go that route. But it seems pretty cool. A lot of the stuff they do, but it
yeah.
seems like the stuff they can do. It seems like there's probably an option. Yeah, like you said, you can tie into a computer if you have the right stuff, and probably just do everything from a computer.
I do love seeing I love having the digital readouts on
Hmm.
diagnostics. I can't tell you like how, like I said, like just not having to guess these days. It's a lot. I mean, it's just changed a lot, even from residential to light
Hmm.
commercial.
Yeah.
Just it's really great. I like it.
Sweet, sweet. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna keep you much longer because I like to stay right around an hour. But
Yeah, yeah.
I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you talking about what's going on. Some changes you're going through, and how you got started in the industry, how you got started on your TikTok and stuff. So I want to give you a chance to shout out all your channels and where everybody can find you. Find the HVAC Army, and get that out there so we can send some more people your way. I
All
know you
right.
probably don't need much help, but
Well, you're making me blush now. But you got you can follow me at the HVAC Army, so hashtag HVAC Army on Facebook, and then I also have a personal Instagram, but that's not really connected to anything there. But you can also follow me through Snapchat HVAC Army. That's again hashtag HVAC Army. And then also through the big one, TikTok. So TikTok, go ahead and you can find me under Jarett James Neuenfeld. You can find me under HVAC Army. You can do any of that. So come check it out. And we've got a lot more awesome content that I've been building for the past year or so. So I've got some stuff as far as subscriptions go, and I've got some cool things that I'm going to be rolling out here. So
cool.
yeah, come follow me. And dude, thank you so much for having me on.
No problem, man. We'll have to have you back on again once you get everything rock and rolling even more, man. Like I said, I love your stuff. I love how you put it out there. And you're always, you're positive about it. You're never dogging anybody out. You're never dogging on any equipment. You're always positive, got a smile on your face and showing off your craft and your passion. So I really appreciate what you do, dude.
Thanks, man. Same to you, brother. I really, really appreciate it. All of it, man.
All right, man. Have a good night.
All right, dude. Cheers.
See ya. If you made it this far, we really appreciate you listening. If you'd like to be a guest on the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, or you know someone that would be a guest, hit us up in the DMs or pat at commercialkitchenchronicles.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the show. It really helps us out. Thank you.